This is Sacha Prentiman of Cirrus Research. The latest issue of the Risk Metrics report is just out. This report looks at cross-market relationships along the curves of risk appetites, defensive to aggressive markets, along the lines of crowding. We look at credit access and a number of other elements. The title of this issue, Global Markets Amplify the East-West Divide. A lot of this has to do with the fact that in the last few reports, we flagged that the profit cycle appears to be stabilizing, at least in the West. And what we find is the Chinese economy continues to slow sharply. As a result, it seems as if it's really created a wet blanket, really, for growth comparisons in the East. When we look at critical indicators such as the credit markets, what you'll see is that markets such as the US, Europe, credit markets in these that Western hemisphere really suggest a much more easy, normalized credit backdrop. When we look towards the East, given the challenges China continues to face, the real estate market issues that are still outstanding, we see that the spreads remain much wider. This is really allowing for a much more defensive profile when we look to markets in the East. This curve, the left panel here, represents the risk appetites for key areas such as Japan, Asia-Pacific. What's important about this is that we're finally starting to see a hint in where their profit cycles are starting to bottom. So if that's correct, we will likely see some opportunities in the East starting to surface. To put this in a fuller context, this scatter plot represents the global key 10 regions in terms of equity markets. The x-axis represents risk appetites from the left channel to the right, risk aversion to really aggressive risk taking. And then the y-axis is more regarding crowding. In other words, if investors are really crowded into a handful of names. What you'll find is that in terms of risk aversion, Asia Pacific, Japan, even Canada and the US, they appear to be much more risk averse. Whereas if you look out to the more aggressive side, the UK, Latin America, and especially India, these three key markets really reflect a very different sort of outtake. Some of this driven really by some of the fundamental rotations that are underway. Some of it is a little harder to explain, especially with the UK. Take a look at the report. We walk through quite a bit of the details and comparisons in there. Thank you.